doing a full body resistance band workout. We're gonna be using a set of tube resistance bands to build muscle, starting with our upper body exercises and then moving to some lower body exercises. So a full body muscle building workout. So if that sounds good to you, hit that like button for me to let me know you want more content like this. So I'm gonna be using a set of tube bands, and I'm gonna be starting out with a chest exercise, doing a chest press. So for this, I'm gonna wrap the band right at chest height. So it's pulling straight back from my chest. From here, I'm gonna step forward until I feel that band pulling me back. My hands should be right at my chest level. Okay? So this is our starting position. It's important to get this start right where you're under tension. You wouldn't want to be so close to where you have the band anchored to that you have no tension back here. You want to step forward, pull that band just slightly into tension. Okay? So chest up, back straight. I should feel that pulling me back here. From here, you're going to push out, straight out towards the front. Now, an important thing, you don't want your hands to drift wide or narrow. You want it straight out in front of that shoulder so the band goes to its maximum length. You don't want to try and shorten the band by changing that angle, because that's going to cheat yourself out of this exercise. Now, if it's uncomfortable with the band over the top of your arms, you can always shift the band so it's underneath as well, so it's not going to dig into your arms. That's totally fine. The same thing applies though. You want to step forward to where the band is under tension, push straight out to the front. This is working the muscles in your chest and the back of your arm in that tricep. So it's a compound movement. You're doing multiple muscles at the same time, just like a bench press. This is that resistance band chest press. Trying to really keep my back straight, so I'm putting all that pressure across, or that tension across my chest. So we just worked the front of your chest. Now we're gonna work the muscles in your upper back. So the opposite muscles, what's called the antagonist muscles to those. So for this, I'm going to, let's see. So for this, I'm going to face away from the same anchor point, same height, where it's pulling right across the back of my arms into my upper back. You should feel that tension pulling my shoulders forward. From here, I'm going to pull back to my chest, trying to drive my elbows backwards. Now I'm not trying to go really wide with my elbows. I'm just pulling them to the back, pinching my shoulder blades together, and then back out straight. So pinch those shoulders together and then back out. This is a supinated row. So I'm getting more of my upper back, all those muscles around my shoulder blades with this. So I like to start out with a little bit lighter of a band to warm up with. Then, once I feel like I've got some more blood into the muscle, once I'm ready, I add an additional band for this exercise. Now, for these, the heaviest band is the red one, so if I ever want to go beyond that, I just have to add a second band. Some exercises, especially as the stronger you get, you either have to add more bands or more reps. Both are fine for muscle building. For me, I like to shoot for about 10 reps and then add a rep every week or two. And that's how I like to progress an exercise. So rather than trying to add more bands, I like to usually add more reps per week. So from here, hands straight at the sides of your chest, right in front of, if you think about it, you can think about a straight line from your elbow forward to your hand. So you want your hand in the same line as your elbow, pointing straight towards the front. So one step forward with the front leg for balance, chest up, pushing out towards the front. I need to step just a little bit further away, so I'm got tension all the way back here in the back, or in the, when I'm most back with my arms, pushing out to the front. This is working that chest and tricep in a chest press. I'm trying to push straight out towards the front. And relax. Now we're going to do a pulling movement. So I like to pair exercises in what are called supersets, where we do a pushing movement on one exercise and then a pulling movement on the next. So while we're doing one, the other is resting. So doing a row with supinated grip. So that supinated grip is just, rather than grip like this where my thumbs pointed up, supinated grip is where my thumbs are pointed in together. So that, what that does is it emphasizes more of those upper back muscles. So I'm going from here, pulling back to my chest, and then back out straight. So I'm really trying to drive my elbows backwards to engage all those muscles in my shoulder blade. So working the middle traps, some of the lats, a little bit of the bicep. So a lot of muscles engage all at once on this. I'm trying to come back straight forward. Don't let your hands come together. If they come back like this, where they touch, you've taken all the tension off of the band at the most important part of the movement. So try and bring your hands just straight back forward. So I like to aim for 2 to 3 sets for muscle building. I find that's a good level for me. Some people can do more, some people need to do a little less. The measure for you, I would say, is try it and then see how sore you are tomorrow. If you're not sore at all, try adding an additional set next time. Now, if you are sore, try and hold at that level, or maybe if you're really sore, back off 1 set and try and get used to that level first. Hang on, that didn't count. I have to get all the way to where my elbows are fully back. I should feel that tension in my chest. That was our second set of chest press. Going into our row, pulling to the back. I find that with the bands, Eventually, it gets to be too much where the bands start pulling you over. It's hard to balance. So instead of adding more bands, it's better to add more reps because you still get the same muscle building effect, but that way you're not having to get pulled over, and that can actually change how your technique is. So instead of trying to make it heavier and heavier, you can add more reps with the bands. That is one of the limitations of the bands. You would either need something behind your back so that you are supported, or you would need to just add more reps so you're not going to get pulled over by the bands. That's one of the reasons I like to take the step forward, because it gives me better balance where these aren't going to pull me over at this weight. So chest out, pushing out towards the front. And going until you feel tired in that muscle. I like to shoot for what's called 2 RIR, so 2 reps in reserve. And what that means is I could do maybe 1 or 2 more reps at the end of a movement before being completely tired out. That I found is the sweet spot, and the studies on this have shown this too, is that's about the best spot for both muscle growth while minimizing fatigue and soreness. So muscle fatigue, nerve fatigue, just across the board, you will be able to do more over time. Now, you always want to be challenging yourself, and I would never say don't challenge yourself, but just because we go a little bit less than muscle failure does not mean that it's not still challenging the muscle. We're still challenging it, we're still building some fatigue. So you want to pick a weight that is challenging, but not completely exhausting. So pick a band that you can manage. I like to aim for about 10 reps because I find that's a good balance of endurance and strength. And relax. So we just did some compound movements for the chest and back. Now we're going to shift into some isolation movements. So we're going to do some isolation movements for the tricep and bicep. So for the tricep, the muscle in the back of your arm, to get the most out of it, we need to have our elbow higher than our shoulder. So what I'm going to do is step on one end of the resistance band, and I'm holding on to the fabric part of the handle. So bringing my hand behind my head, this is going to be a overhead tricep extension. So my elbow is high up in the air to put tension on that tricep, and then from here I'm going to push up towards the ceiling and then back all the way back down, bent to the back of my neck. So I'm putting a lot of tension on that tricep. and relax. And same thing on the other side. So I like to step, same foot, same hand back here, and we think about straightening from that elbow, working that tricep right back here. So I'm keeping the elbow right where it is and just straightening out towards the ceiling. Should feel that tense up in that tricep. All right, so that was for our tricep. Now we're gonna work the muscle in the bicep. Now for this, I like to anchor the band to something low to the ground, and then step forward till my hands are behind my back. This is gonna be a resistance band bicep curl. So pulling it back like this puts more tension on the top of that bicep. So I want my back straight. I should feel that pulling across the front of my shoulder. From here, letting my hands pull back, I'm gonna bring my hands up to the front, curling up and then all the way back out straight. Now when I go out straight, I should feel a ton of tension in that bicep all the way through the front of the shoulder. The important part is going back and down. Doesn't matter as much going up to the front. It's much more about all the way to the back. Where you're getting that length in that bicep. So we're both lengthening the bicep and putting it under tension in that length. And that's what's gonna grow that bicep more. So those are our two arm exercises to isolate the muscles in the arm. I like to emphasize the muscles in my arm. So I'm gonna do multiple sets. I aim for usually 4 sets for the arms to really try and grow those muscles. The more sets you do, the faster that muscle grows. More sets per week means the more growth in that muscle. As long as they're good sets where you're putting the muscle under tension, giving a good stimulus to that muscle growth. It's no good if it's not challenging. So we want it to be challenging to do. That's one of the reasons we're bringing the elbow high like this, because it puts an extra level of challenge on that muscle. So putting the muscle under high tension helps it grow. Should feel that burn in the muscle by the end. Now, if you are looking for a workout and enjoying this, I host these live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do all of my workouts live on camera. So if you are looking to build muscle with me, looking for someone to join you in that journey, or looking to join someone else's journey on this, hit that subscribe button to be here live when we work out together. Just going from one exercise to the next, because while one muscle is working, the other is resting. So while I'm working the bicep, that tricep is resting, so I can maximize my workout time by going from one exercise straight to the next. Now, something with these bands is you don't ever want to stretch them double their length. So, especially if you're very tall, you have to be careful about doing one arm at a time on these, because you can overstretch the band. I've had that happen where it snapped over the top of my head because I was overstretching that band when I was doing two arms at the same time. So be careful to not overstretch that. Now, something else, if you are not feeling tension in this exercise up at the top of the movement, so if the band is a little bit too slack, where you're not really feeling the burning in your arm, what you can do is, instead of stepping at the end of the band, choke up a little bit and step partway up on the band. Depending on your height, you might have to go a little bit higher. Just make sure you're not overstretching that band where it goes double in length. So a good way of looking at it is this length of band should never exceed that length. So a 3-foot segment should never become a 6-foot segment of band. Hopefully that makes sense. My first set of tricep, I think I was a little bit too low on the band, so I didn't feel as much tension as I would like. So I'm gonna repeat that one. This though, definitely can feel a lot of tension in the bicep as I go back down. Oh. I like this variation of bicep curl because you get tension all the way up into the front of the shoulder. It's not just down here by the elbow. You get that full length of bicep all the way up. So it gives you the entirety of the muscle rather than just one part of it. So we're hitting that full muscle length. That's the thing we're doing with the tricep too. By lifting the elbow, We're actually lengthening that tricep to its maximum length to really build that long head of the tricep, that part that goes all the way up into your shoulder. You can feel that right here as you go up, that tension in that muscle. Switch sides. I'm trying to step on the same place on the band on both sides so I have an even resistance between the two. Feel that burning in that tricep. Might feel a little bit shaky too, that's okay. If you feel a little bit of that tremor, that's fine. That just means the muscle is working hard and is running out of muscle cells to add to it or to do the movement. So if you're hitting that point, that's actually a good sign. It's not meaning you're weak, not meaning anything like that. It means that you're getting everything you can out of that muscle. So going to our bicep curl, hands start behind your back or pulled to the back, not behind your back, but pulled backwards. So they're behind your shoulder, pulling up to the front. So this is extension of the shoulder. So by pulling forward like this, I'm actually stretching that bicep, and that's going to cause more muscle growth from increasing that tension on the bicep up at the top of the shoulder. And relax. All right, we're gonna do one more set of tricep. So, just because I didn't feel like I got a great tricep workout on the very first one, so I'm just adjusting to make sure I get everything I can out of that muscle. Now, if you want a set of bands like these, I have affiliate links down below that help support the channel. It doesn't cost you any extra, but if you're looking for a good set of bands, I found these Black Mountain resistance bands are really good. They're very durable. They last a long time, and they're good resistance. Some bands I found are not nearly as resistive. They don't actually provide the resistance they say they do, or it's too easy or they're too light. These I find are a good tension where it's really lets me get a good muscle build. So if you're looking for a set of bands, I have links down below to help you find them, and they do help support the channel, so thank you so much. So we just did isolation for arms. Now we're gonna move to some leg exercises. So legs are a little tricky with bands. Now, and this is the way I found that works best, because you need to keep tension in the band the whole time. So for that, I do a loop where I click these together and then step in the middle of that band. So the other way you can do this, if you'd rather not do the loop where you have to hold onto the band, is you can do the handles and step in the middle of the band and have the handles up like this. But I find this is a little less comfortable on my low back to do it this way. So I like personally to hold the band a little more down here in more of a suitcase lift. So stepping in the middle of the band, holding it down here like this. So from here, you're gonna bend your knees. Just make sure that you're holding wide enough where the band's not gonna get in your way. So you're gonna bend your knees. Hang on just a second. Just thinking. I think we're gonna try something a little different. We're gonna do a lunge. That's gonna be too much. I'm a little bit worried about snapping these. I can feel a little bit too much tension in it. I have snapped one of these before and I don't want that to happen on this exercise. So let me think about this. This is a newer band. It's a little bit more tension than I was expecting with this one. So I don't wanna damage the band. So I think we're going to actually use the handles. So for our legs, we are going to do a banded squat. So you're going to step right in the middle of the band, bring the band up to your shoulders, front of your shoulders. This is sort of like a high bar squat. So from here, you're gonna bend down, sink down low as you can, and then back up. Trying to keep your chest up. You should feel that band pulling you down. Now you wanna have your feet wide enough where you feel tension through the entire movement. So, instead of going really heavy on the band, I like to do high reps. So I tend to go for more like 15 to 20 reps. Get the most I can out of my legs. So we're working those quads, the muscle on the front of your thigh, trying to go deep down where you're real low to the ground. You want to touch the back of your calf with your thigh. And that's for the muscles right here in the front of the thigh. So now we're gonna do a good morning. Starts in the same position, but what I'm gonna do is keep my back straight. I'm gonna bow towards the front. I should feel this back here in the back of my hamstrings. So hands here, pushing my hips out to the back, and then back up. I'm working those hamstring muscles, putting them under tension. So this is a great exercise to not only strengthen your hamstrings, but also stretch them and strengthen them in that flexible position. So you can do it in front of a wall, push your hips back towards the wall, and back up. and relax. So that is our workout for today. If you like these workouts and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time.